Hi there, and welcome to my monthly update of my two plots, plot 15 and plot 16, where I'll show you the jobs that I've done over the last month, the crops that will be available in this month, and my jobs that I need to do this month too. I'm in the greenhouse today, putting up some dahlias. I did them in small module trays. They're getting a bit larger now, as you can see, so they need potting up into these 3-inch pots. But I can do that later. I'll show you around the greenhouse now. As I said, the dahlias are coming along really nicely, and I've potted those up there, and in the background there is my celery that's coming along, as is the basil, and I've also got some summer cabbages coming along, and quite a few lettuces, and over here as well. So I'm going to be planting out those today. In the background you'll see my tomatoes, they're all coming along nicely, Shirley. And here's my spring onions, not quite ready for eating yet, but very close. And I said I was doing succession sowing, and there's some more spring onions and the ones that I did the other week. So it's good. And also succession sowing of the French beans. I also put in some hollyhocks there for home. I've got some pink ones and then some red ones. And my runner beans haven't done very well, as you can see. They haven't come up, so I've soaked some at home and hopefully they'll germinate. Salsify is doing pretty well, as is my second sowing of beetroot. Butternut Squash wise, they're doing pretty well. As you can see, the greenhouse is quite empty, and that's because I've done a lot of planting out. So we'll go down the plot and show you what I've been up to over the last month. So succession sowing of radish. I've got the radish there, and I've also got some radish in the ground now. So they're coming along nicely, it's warm enough. And also the beetroot, that's looking pretty good. I hardened off the sweetcorn, took about a week. I put it into these plastic polytunnels and then slowly lifted the side. I'll show you doing it here. And then that just hardens them off. Talking of hardening off, I've got some sunflowers, and these are some crown prince squashes that are also hardening off. This bed here I've marked out ready for replanting of some broad beans that I've got further up the plot. And those of you observant and have seen my plot before, you will see that I've given the plums a good haircut there and taken out some of the lower branches as well. The other thing is my second early potatoes are coming along quite nicely as well. Right, we'll go up to the top of the plot, see what we've got up here. First earlies is coming along really nicely, as are the onions, but they have been in for quite a while. Now I've got garlic here, and because I was late in rotivating all my beds, I actually planted some broad beans in between them, and they need transplanting today. So that's one of my jobs that I'll have to get on to today. Here you can see the difference between the first earlies, or the new potatoes, that are in that row there, and the second earlies which are there. So you can see the difference in growth on those. Talking of planting out, I said about that earlier. I've planted out my Savoy cabbages, so that's winter cabbages. In here I've also got some cauliflower, and down here I've got some kale as well. That's coming along nicely. Down in plot 15. Plot 15 then. So we've got some Kohlrabi there, 16. Some more sweetcorn. Somehow I've managed to end up with over 70 sweetcorn, so that's going to give us a good crop. Second early potatoes, we're all doing pretty well. And down here we've got the broad beans that I transplanted a month and a half ago, and they're all coming along nicely. They are flowering as well, so we should be getting some broad beans off of those. I've also got another one of these plastic polytunnels here, and I've been hardening off some of the plants. So we've got French beans there, some more beetroot, squashes, and no, that's not squash, that's a courgette, some flowers and some squashes. Right, let's go into the fruit cage. As you can see, the summer raspberries are coming along nicely, and the other thing you'll see is that the fruit cage lid isn't on yet. I was going to do it today, but as you can see, it's pretty windy and the wind gets underneath it and blows it off, so I'll have to do that another day. In the interim, I've put in some small net cages over the top of the strawberries, because the strawberries are all coming along nicely now. You can see them there. So we've got some fruiting strawberries there. We don't want the blackbirds having those, and I've put in a small net there, and then when I've got the main net over the top, I can remove those. So that's about all I've been up to really. Quite a bit, a lot of planting out. So what have we got cropping? Well, obviously we've got our rhubarb over there. That's doing really nicely, and we're getting a lot of that. The other thing is that we're getting a lot of asparagus still. As you can see, it's coming up pretty good, and I'm getting a crop of that every 2 days. So we're eating lots and lots of asparagus. I think that was about all that we're cropping, apart from stuff we're getting out of the freezer. So, jobs for the coming month then. Putting the net on top of the fruit cage, and then removing these nets that cover the strawberries. That's a job that I really must get on and do. I can't leave it any longer. Caring for these plants, potting them on where required, and also hardening them off so that they can go outside. And I'll be planting out some of the lettuces today. Tackling these weeds that seem to have taken over this bed and keeping on top of that. But today I need to finish up potting on the dahlias and transplanting all these broad beans into this bed here. Right, I've watered this ground already, so these plants should just pop out. I'll just dig a couple out. And then we'll take them down to the other bed. As you can see, I've put a line in, and I'm going to plant these 18 inches. So what I've actually done is cut myself a cane that's 18 inches, and then I can just lay it down on the ground and then just dig up the soil. It makes it so much easier and quicker. There you go. And then on to the next one. There you go. I'll just carry on and do the rest. Right, last one. I've had a few extras, so I've made planted those in between the others. Hopefully they'll survive. I think I've left it a little bit too late, but we'll see. We'll keep them watered and we'll see how we're doing. There we go. A bed full of broad beans. Lovely. So I'm planting the lettuce between the sweet corn in the middle as a sort of catch crop. So while the sweet corn are growing up, the lettuce will grow, and then I'll pick those. I'm going to get on and finish planting the rest of these lettuce. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video interesting, and I'll see you soon.